What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MSTR MicroStrategy, or as it's better known these days, strategy. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, it is the 8th day of August, and here we are on Friday. 3 hours, 19 minutes left in this day, this wonderful day. $391.57 is the price. I feel like MSTR likes to drop on Fridays. You know, not always, but it likes to do it a good bit of the time. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like anytime I talk about it on a Friday, it's always moving down. Look at that. That was a Friday dump there. Friday, you did drop here as well, down 2%. Even though it's a green candle, you dropped. Last Friday dropped. I mean, that's how many? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 Fridays in a row that you've dropped, if not 5 Fridays in a row. Here you pumped. This one you pumped. Anyways, looking like you want to come down a little bit. Let's do some short-term analysis, and then we'll come back out to the daily time frame. I'm really surprised with how long you've been consolidating here. I really would have thought that we'd be moving up sooner. I don't think that this hurts the expectations for MSTR, just puts it off as far as time goes, right? I love it whenever I make a prediction and it takes longer amounts of time to get there, right? People act like that is somehow a loss, right? And you've been moving up. By the way, and for a very long time, you've been moving up from April 7th. Really, you found your low back in February. You really haven't progressed lower since February. But people act like that's something to brag about, right? Like if I'm calling for the price to move up here to $1,000 or more by June, I remember making that prediction, and it happens instead. It's by September. The trolls will come out and be like, haha, you're wrong. It's like, yeah, I was wrong, but now you and everybody else who's been watching these videos has more time to accumulate, which means by the time it actually gets there, you're only going to have more money. So yeah, that's really funny. I don't know. Unless you're options trading, then you're getting wrecked, man. But that's kind of why, with how long it's been taking, I've actually stopped options trading with MSTR. We used to do it. We were doing good for a second there, but then this drawback really hurt my pride, hurt my funds with MSTR. I thought that we'd be moving up to $1,000 a lot sooner, but that's why it's also important. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Little rule of thumb: if you ever set a time frame out for when you think something's going to happen and you're doing options trades, it might be best to like double that time frame or like do a year out or more. Maybe you're absurdly confident it's January, you're absurdly confident a price will be achieved by February or March. Put it out to February or March of next year. You know what I mean? Don't get greedy. There's nothing wrong. Yes, you'll get less gains, but you also have less risk, and you're still going to make more gains than if you held the stock anyway. So it's all about risk management. It's not about making money the fastest. It's about not losing money the fastest. The faster you try to make money, the faster you will lose it. Speaking from personal experience, let's look at this on a 1 hour time frame here. Okay, $391, 46 minutes left in this 1 hour time frame. The RSI has some bearish divergence. Stochastics look like they want to come down. MACD is about to cross. Yeah, a little bit lower. I don't know if you go below this low at 367, but I do think you go lower than where you are now. 3 hour time frame. You look productive. You look productive on all counts, but yeah, you probably move down first a little bit, and then you move up again. So next week should be a bullish recovery week. Daily time frame here. You know, Fridays are bearish, but what about Mondays? Mondays are normally bullish, I think, right? That was a Monday there. That was a bullish Monday. Mondays are normally bullish. They kind of have a little bit of equilibrium there. Low to high. Now let's take this high. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you do go below 360. Maybe you go down to 354. You could go to your 382. Very, very possible. If we take this before you had this high, we had this high here. You didn't go to your 382, so maybe not. You know, typically I would like to see you go to the 382, but MSTR is doing its own thing. Perhaps we're not respecting this fib from that low. Maybe we're respecting this fib instead. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. High to low here. 786. Okay, you're grinding out that golden ratio. Yeah, you're not really respecting this one either, though, right? So I don't know. I'm going to stick with it. I think that you do hold this 366, 365 as support. I don't think that you go below there, but lower nonetheless. Maybe you fill that gap, go to 380, 387, whatever. You're at 391 now. Nothing crazy. And then next week, start to recover. We should be moving up higher any day now. Any day now, you should be moving up higher. I don't like that you're rejecting the 50 on the stochastics and the RSI. I do like the MACD. You're at an area where you could cross and bounce off the zero line. The zero's here. We went below the zero on the oscillators. Yeah, I know, but it's the same thing. It's like here that was resistance, right? this was support, even though the blue line went below the 0. I think you're in a good posture right now on the MACD to cross and hold this. So I do like that. The stochastics crossing out of the oversold zone coming up, that's bullish as well. The only thing I have a problem with really is the RSI, but you did bounce off the oversold zone where prior to that you've been getting into the overbought zone. So overall bullish on the daily time frame. I have a hard time seeing you get a lower low is what I'm trying to say there, right? Easier time seeing you get a higher high, but how long is it going to take? At this rate, I am expecting Bitcoin to start really taking off next week. So next week should be a good week. I wouldn't be surprised at all if next week we got to $450 or more for MSTR. But time will tell, right? I very much would expect that we see higher prices. If not by the end of next week, then certainly the following week. But by the end of the month, if things go the way I think they will, we should see new all-time highs for MSTR, and perhaps we'll be double the price that we're at now. Maybe you'll go all the way up to $600, $700, something in that range there. Could very well happen. Even a little bit above that. Let's look at this from a high to a low perspective. High to a low here. 684 is the first target. 684 to $919. That's the primary target zone. Very likely to find resistance in this area, but I think that ultimately we will continue to climb going into September, climbing up to this zone of about $1,100 to $1,600, maybe even $1,700, something like that. By the time that we achieve this price of $1,000, I think MSTR, they've got shares set aside for doing a stock split, so they likely will split the stock. So we might actually never see a $1,700 price for MSTR. Perhaps it'll be a $170 price. I'm pretty sure the amount of shares that they've got sitting on the side are enough to do a 10-to-1 split. Make it cheaper for the average person, right? MSTRs in peak mania phase, let retail buy a lot more effectively, get people to do options a lot more effectively and at cheaper prices. So higher prices as far as market cap goes, but lower prices something, because stocks, it's not like crypto. You can't fractionally own stocks. You can nowadays, actually. I think Robinhood allows that. I'm not 100% sure, and maybe some other exchanges do, but typically you buy the whole stock. You don't buy fractions of it. So anyways, by the time we get to prices above $1,000, it might be more like $100 or something like that, right, with the 10-to-1 split. But nonetheless, I think that we're going to see some intense gains, some immense gains, and yeah, very, very bullish on MSTR. I like the bounce off the 50 on the weekly. I like the bounce off the oversold zone on stochastics. The MACD is bullish enough. I mean, it looks kind of bearish here, but lower lows, and you've got higher lows, so that's bullish as well, right? I think you have higher lows. Actually, hell, you have lower lows. That's not bearish. I wouldn't say that's bearish. Overall, you're in a bullish posturing, but because the oscillators are above the 0, but time will tell. We'll see how that goes. I very much do anticipate that we'll see higher prices. You've been in this consolidation phase a lot longer than originally anticipated. The fact that you broke out of this and it was just such a lackluster move, I feel like we've seen that across various cryptos in the space. And I know MSTR is not a crypto, but it's crypto adjacent. I've seen this bull flag breakout across the space, and then you get this kind of limp move, and then you pump. I think we're going to get that pump here pretty soon. $1,300 or higher is my expectation. We'll find turbulence along the way. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. We can look at the monthly time frame. We haven't done that too much. I think it would be, dare I say, crucial that this month closes green. If you close red this month, that would actually look pretty bad. So close green, move up higher. You need it. You don't need to be at new all-time highs by the end of this month, but I think that's what I'm expecting, especially because I'm expecting Bitcoin to take off by the end of this month up to prices that are at like 140 to 160K, somewhere in that range. So MSTR better track that as well. But get into the overbought zone on your monthly RSI. Stochastics look good. MACD looks good. Just bring some life into that RSI and get going. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.